Module 4, Why Clubs Fail. District 87 Club Growth Director, Distinguished Toastmaster, Augustinus Wijaya from Jakarta, Indonesia, will be sharing with us some of the reasons why clubs fail. Welcome, Augustinus.
Thank you, Kaylin. Fellow Toastmasters, why clubs fail? The purpose of this session is to get a better understanding to various factors that can affect a club, that can cause a club to fail. As the club coach, it is important to understand these factors in order to improve the club. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a 10 years or 20 years old club failed and closed? Please type 1 in the chat box if you ever seen such event, or at least if you think that it is possible. More than 10 years old club failed. Type 1 in the chat box. Okay. One. Yes, it can happen. The question is, why did it happen to an established club? More than 10 years old club? Actually, it can happen because every club has a life cycle. Eventually, every club will experience these cycles. There are 3 phases in a life cycles of a club. First phase usually happens to a newly established club. The common traits of the first phase are the club relatively has many enthusiastic members. Also, the education productivity is relatively high. Every club meetings filled with several members delivering their educational project. The second phase is the mature clubs phase. The common traits of this phase are the club has many experienced members. Everything is running smoothly in this phase. And when guests come to visit the club, most of them will be interested to join the club. And the third and the last phase is the declining club phase. The common traits are most members content with status quo. They will refuse any request for change. For example, if the club coach asks them to start posting their meeting invitation weekly in Instagram, they might probably say that they didn't have any club Instagram and they never done such thing before, or it is not how they do things in their clubs, and they are reluctant to do it. At this phase, when guests come to visit the club, they will not be interested to join the club. By understanding the condition of a club, which phase they are at the moment, as a club coach, we will be more prepared. A club that needs a club coach usually belong in third phase. But it is possible that a first phase club suddenly fell apart and need the help of a club coach. Perhaps this is mostly happen to corporate clubs. Sometimes one person initiated a corporate club. Let's call the person a corporate champion. The corporate champion assigned the employees to become the club member. And usually, not everyone is on board with this plan. And they might withdraw from the club in a relatively short amount of time, leaving the club with a few numbers of members, and they need a club coach. Now, after we understand the life cycle of a club, next is to understand several factors that can influence a club externally. First factor is the economy situation. For example, in this pandemic situation, many people were laid off from their job, and this can affect their decision to renew their membership in Toastmasters. So, in a struggling economy state, members must get the most benefit of their membership in Toastmasters. Otherwise, they will not renew their membership. In contrary, in a good economy situation, it will be much easier. For example, even if the quality of the club meeting is not that good, members can still renew their membership. Simply to socialize, hang out, chit-chat with other fellow Toastmasters members. It will be easier to handle a club in a good economy situation. Another external factor to consider is the location of the club. Okay, it doesn't apply at present moment because most of the clubs are conducting online meeting. But in an offline meeting situation, it is possible that members leave the club because of its location, or guests hesitate to join because of the location of the club. For example, guests will hesitate if the location of the club doesn't have many options for public transport, or the location of the club is in the middle of a traffic jam area, like my place in Jakarta, traffic jam area. These are the examples of the external factors that can affect the club. As a club coach, we need to observe carefully to come up with a good solution. For example, if we found out or determine that the location of the club is the problem, then the solution to this problem is to find a different meeting location. So observe. And that is the external factors. Now for the internal factors. What about the quality of the meeting? And why the quality of the meeting is important for a club? If the club conducts a bad quality meeting, then guests who come to visit will not join as a member. They won't be interested to join. Or if the club conducts a bad quality meeting, then the members itself will leave the club to another club or even quit from Toastmasters. So how is a club meeting can be considered a good quality meeting? Okay, we are not going to discuss this in details as it have been discussed in previous session. But here are some examples. People say that the more, the merrier. I believe it applies in a Toastmasters meeting. More people coming means more variety. Members get more chances to learn from various speakers. If the club has many attendees, then all the meeting roles can be filled without members having to take multiple roles. And it will be great to have multiple prepared speakers doing various projects. For example, one speaker doing icebreaker, another speaker doing level 3 presentation mastery, and another one doing level 5 engaging humor, for example. Everybody will learn more from various projects. By having a good quality meeting, members have the opportunity to learn more and guests can witness different speakers, different projects, and will be more likely to join the club. Now, what if a club already had a good quality meeting, but they never had any guests coming to visit the club? Then it is time to look at the public relation effort of that club. A club with no social media or not actively post their activity in social media, then no surprise, no wonder, no guests will ever come and visit that club. I knew several clubs that was constantly visited by guests because that club always invite the public to come to their club meeting through social media. The invitation could come from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Meetup, Eventbrite, etc. It is very important to aim for a good public relation efforts. Another internal factor is the executive committee, the leaders of that club. Are they aware of their responsibilities? If they know their responsibilities, then are they fulfilling their responsibilities actively? Are they conducting meetings among them regularly? The executive committees can shape the condition of a club. If the executive committees are active and have plenty of energy, then the rest of the members can feel it and get energized as well. Another internal factor is the member itself. How is the attitude of the members? Are they committed once they are set as role takers? Alternatively, did they often cancel taking the role one day prior to the club meetings? Did they actively volunteer themselves to take roles to present their projects? If the members are active and have plenty of energy, then all the members can feel it and get energized as well. These are the internal factors that can affect a club. As a club coach, we observe and start with this internal factor first, because internal factors is easier to fix than external factors. The next thing that we need to understand is the nature of club leadership. Clubs often fail because of these common mistakes regarding leadership. The club often relies on one charismatic leader. When for some reason that particular leader leaves the club, that club will fail. If you notice someone in the club who is very active in the WhatsApp group, motivating others, rallying everyone to visit the next club meeting, fully energized, perhaps that particular member is the charismatic leader. When that charismatic leader is not around, the energy of the club will reduce significantly. And that is why it is important to have leader regeneration. We need to encourage relatively new members to take on leadership roles. By doing this constantly, eventually the club will have plenty of capable leaders to run the club successfully. And now we are entering the last thing in this session. We need to understand the importance of club ownership. When we own something, we will take care of it, right? So that's members. When they felt that they own the club, they will cherish it, honor it, and do whatever it takes to make it a successful club. So how do we grow the feeling of club ownership? There is one good practice for new members in their inauguration, which is to have them and all members to recite the Toastmasters Promise. I wonder, is there any of you who can recite Toastmasters Promise without reading it? Raise your hand in front of the camera if you can do that. Recite Toastmasters Promise without reading it. Anyone? I will be amazed if you can do it. Perhaps if I ask you to recite the 10 Commandments from the Bible, perhaps many of you can do it. Anyway, it is a good culture to recite Postmasters Promise regularly throughout some period of time. When every member reminded to attend club meeting regularly, when every member reminded to prepare all of the project to the best of their ability, when all of the members reminded to serve as a club officer when asked, etc., 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 then the club will be heading to the right direction. The next thing that we can do is to give recognition to members for all of their achievement, to give recognition for all of their efforts, to give recognition for their involvement in any events. A recognition can be as simple as thanking them for a job well done after an event. By doing that, chances are members will grow the feeling of ownership to the club. These are the several factors that we need to learn to get a better understanding why a club fails or succeeds. Life cycle of a club, external factors, internal factors, the nature of club leadership, and the importance of club ownership. These are just some of the factors that can affect a club. Every club is unique. As a club coach, it is our job to observe the club carefully, try to pinpoint what the problem is. By observing carefully and determining the condition of the club, we as the club coach can strategically improve the condition of the club. Thank you for listening. I hope this session will be useful for all of us in the future as a club coach. Happy coaching, everyone. Now, is there any question, any comments, any thoughts? You can unmute yourself and speak up. Anyone? I wonder, is it because all of you are tired or I explain everything clearly? I don't know. Okay, we have someone typing in the chat box. Even bright, yes. Actually, I learned it in my club, Jakarta Bahasa Toastmasters Club. The VPPR posted our club meeting with the photo with plenty of the members, many of us, and it got like more than 10% signing to come and visit every single meeting, every 10% at least. So yeah, Eventbrite is a good thing. I learned it from my VPPR when I become the president of the club. No, Eventbrite is free. Eventbrite is free.
Question.
Yes.
How many social media platforms would you use? Like the Facebook, or would you use LinkedIn, Instagram, all those sort of things?
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Joe. I believe the more we have, the more coverage that we can cover to the public. It is up to your club. It is up to your VPPR. Does he or she have the energy to post in all the social media? But at least have one popular social media, for example, Instagram, and post regularly there as member to be active and also post in the club social media. At least one. At least one.
Thank you.
Yes, Toastmaster Murray, go ahead.
All right. I've been using Facebook, looking at the local community groups, and I've been posting on that, and I've started to get some response. And I found that useful because today, a day like today, people don't want to travel. It's fairly lousy in Sydney. So, but the local groups, as I said, I'm getting some responses. First time I've used the various community groups. I'll increase the size of my community groups.
Yes, thank you, Toastmaster. Is it Toastmaster Merinda? Recently, my district conduct one event to promote Toastmasters to the public, and we use the service of Facebook fan page advertisement, and by that single advertisement, we got 1,000 people registering for that event. Yes, plenty of people registering. Eventually, the one who showed up in that event is 264%. It is very good to do the Toastmaster promotion. So social media is powerful and it is very effective. Facebook is very effective. Yeah, Toastmaster Murray, please, District 112.
Something I've learned is with anything we put out in promotion, social media, whatever, it is the perception of your club that somebody who doesn't know Toastmasters will form from what you put out. For example, if you put a club photo and the majority of people in the photo are males, minimum age 60, it might not attract as many young female 18-year-olds or whatever demographic you want to look at. So it's not how the message affect. We think about the message as Toastmasters. It's how non-Toastmasters would interpret the message.
Yes, thank you for the question. Yes, I agree with you. One thing that I learned from my VPPR, the one who posts our photo in Eventbrite, she said that people tend to be interested in the photo of a large group of people in that club. So for example, when my club is only attended by 8 persons that day, we are not going to post that photo. But when we conduct a birthday party and we have like 50% coming and we use that photo, it's okay to use the photo. You don't have to put all the elderly above 60 all the time. Maybe you can use a various photo just to get people be interested to at least try. We are not going to trick them, right? We have integrity. But when they come, they can judge by themselves. Is Toastmasters good for them? Are they willing to interact with the elderly, for example? It is up to their decision. At least they come and try, and we try to attract them to come to our club. I'm sorry, Kelly, do I have more time?
Yeah, you've got time for another couple of questions. So
yeah, please remind me if I cannot take any more questions.
That's okay. So I just found one in the chat, and it's from a club coach, Narelle. What is your thoughts on developing a communication plan?
To be honest, I never attempt to develop a communication plan, but we are, as a Toastmasters, we learn how to communicate and to lead. I believe it is a good practice to try to attempt a good communication plan and try to implement it. And I'm sure whatever the result is, we will learn from the experience.
Thank you. And another question from Esther. How soon before a meeting do you promote the event? Too early and people might forget, too late and they may have other plans.
Yes, thank you. So the last event that we conduct, we promoted like 2 weeks in advance, but we will repeat the invitation, sending the email, the reminder. We even invite all the one who register to a WhatsApp group, a temporary WhatsApp group. And we will remind them like a week before, 3 days before, H-1, 1 day before, and early in the morning. Today is the event. Please remember that. That is how we do it.
Nice. I like that. Do we have any more questions before we wrap up this session? I think that is all. Augustinus, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a very insightful session there, and so important that we understand the bigger picture of what can go wrong in clubs, and it will be unique to each club. I think I saw a message there. Somebody asked at one point early on about why would a 40-year-old club, I think it was, or a 30-year-old club fail? It's going to be unique. And this is the thing with a club coach, you need to have the conversation and talk to the club and talk to the members and do a bit of research to be able to uncover and identify the reasons why the club you're working with has been heading in that direction. So thank you, everyone. That concludes our session on why clubs fail.